Good morning. Today is August 20th, 2019, approximately 9:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Oluwale Okabola, your S&P, your S&P E-mini specialist, here to bring you a quick and dirty pre-market report. Please refer to the recap from yesterday where I talked about kind of what we are to be looking for coming in today's trade. So this is just an update to with the now we have the overnight action in our face. Real quickly, um, okay, real quickly. My reference, number one reference, as I talked about last night, coming into today, is this open. It's the weekly open from for the week, and that also, of course, is yesterday's open. We have thus far a weekly doji and a daily doji. Doji means basically indecision. So it's basically a balance, right? So keeping it simple, we're trading above the open. We're up for the week. We're trading below. We're down for the week. Can't get any simpler than that. Now it gets a lot more complex with the overnight inventory. Overnight inventory from the settle, it's short. Okay, and we're short, short, short for like the last one, two, three, four, pretty much all of Europe, the European session. We are short. Okay, so put yourself in the seat of the folks shorting this market. What do they want to see if they're short? They want to definitely see this market get back within the gap, and we can look at this chart and at least attempt to fill the gap. If they cannot, at least at a minimum, take out the overnight low and find acceptance below this overnight low, and the market starts coming in and out of yesterday's range, more than likely they're going to look to cover one, take profits, or those who don't know what's going on as the market trade up. If the market trades up, they're going to start giving back some of their profits, or those who got in at bad positions, they're going to look to cover. And if they're covering, they're a buyer, and they're a buyer, they're lifting the market. I also want you to be aware, and I'll show you now what's above the market. So if this is the last high from the overnight, or you use the overnight high, these two lines, what do you see? What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? We got a whole bunch of stops. Those who are shorting here, especially from the overnight high, they're putting their stops here. Stops, stops. You see that they've been shorting from this level. Ever since the market broke, they shorted again, broke, rallied, they try to short it again. They're dipping in the well too many times. So there's some stops up here. So these folks who are shorting, they're not getting what they want to see, meaning at least finding acceptance below the overnight low. Acceptance to me is value starting to develop below the overnight low. Then they're going to look to cover. Now, value begins to start to develop below the overnight low. That gets us lower value. That will get us lower value with the overnight developing this way below the overnight below the value area low. I apologize. So that's clearly lower value. That sets us up for at least make an attempt on an assault to fill the gap. You want to monitor for one time framing. One time framing is basically a new low every 30-minute period without taking out the high of the previous 30-minute period. So that's one time framing. Again, if they can't get what they want to see, we have a prominent point of control that is 9 wide. That is 9 wide. So price should get pulled back up at least to the point of control, and then you see the anomaly showing the liquidation from the M period late in the day yesterday. So that's what we're looking at going on coming into the market. So if you're short, you want to see value develop at least overlapping the overnight low, yesterday's low. You want to see value develop overnight low, yesterday's low, and what do we got? Nothing but space to fill this gap. To fill this gap right here. Nothing but space. I'm not saying we're going to fill this gap in one today, but at least they can make an assault because value's lower, everything's setting up. Now, if value cannot develop below the overnight low, yesterday's low, then that is an indication that the market is not as short as price is leaving you to believe. Also, overnight is short, And so you can expect some kind of adjustment to the overnight inventory. So I would say wait to see if you get an adjustment to the overnight inventory. You don't get that adjustment, that means the market wants to trade lower, and you just find a way to hop on board, and you know what to look out for. If you're on board, you don't want to see the market start coming in and out of yesterday's range. That could be a signal that we could come up, because again, as I talked about in the beginning of this video, these shorts are going to look to take profits. Those who got in bad positions, they're going to get nervous and they're going to cover their buyer. Okay, if we get a rally up, then we got shorts up above the market, and stops up above the market, and so that could be an opportunity as well to go long. Yesterday I talked about this intraday balance from Friday. You see the overnight majority traded in this intraday balance, so you can apply the balance rules, basically a breakout of balance. If you get back in, then that's a breakout failure. So be careful. So right now the market is setting up to break out of balance. This from this intraday balance that goes back, not from Friday, from the 13th, right? So you see what's going on. I talked about this in the report from yesterday, so refer to reports from yesterday for further training or explanation of what I am talking about. So right now we got to attempt to break out a balance. You want to monitor to see whether or not the market can get acceptance back up here. If it can't, more than likely we'll have lower value, and that sets us up for a short trade. If we get accepted back in this balance area, um, again, we got stops up above. You just find a way to get on board and just monitor the trade for continuation. What do you do when you're monitoring a trade? When value is against you, you want to see one time framing up that will suspend value, or double distribution higher that will negate value. So I hope this helps you get yourself on the right side of the trade. This is Olawale Okabola with Spartacus Trading Corporation, wishing you a good day and bring home those profits.